grounding meditation with this golden rose. So keep your eyes open for a moment and just allow this rose to come into your eyes. And then we're going to take 3 deep breaths. And every time you take a deep breath, imagine that you're smelling this rose. So do that at your own pace. You can let your eyes close and just become aware that the rose brought you to your heart. And feel your heart center. And now imagine a golden orb, just like the color of this rose, fill your heart chakra. And continue to breathe and let that golden color fill your chest, front and back. And with your next couple of breaths, allow yourself to relax and allow that golden color to become more vivid. And we're simply going to allow that golden orb in your heart space to stay very alit in your heart space, but also allow that golden orb to start to track down the central column of your body. Allow it to light your lower dantian, the power center in your stomach. And allow it to trace down and light your root chakra. And with these 3 centers alight with golden color, you can allow that to now gently start to trace down through the floor below and into the soil of the earth below you, saying hello to Pachamama, Mother Earth. And so your heart and your lower dantian, your kushko, and your root chakra are now connected to Mother Earth, saying hello. And let's just allow that golden light to continue to sink further. This is effortless, so just let it drop further into Pachamama. Feel it and witness it deepening. And then allow it to start to merge into the heart of Mother Earth. Let's be present with this golden light in our hearts and our lower energy centers, and also in the heart of Mother Earth. And as you feel that connection, Notice that your heart begins to open. Let's just feel that connection for a few more seconds and let the heart open. And we're going to take a final deep breath. And as you do, inhale and exhale, let your heart open just a little bit more. And that golden light will keep you connected to Mother Earth as you hear the stories of the stars.
Thank you, Sarah. That was just beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
I want, just briefly, as y'all know, that as we've been gathering, part of the vision was to call in people in my life that I'd had connection with on my journey, and Caroline being one of them. She was assisting in the first Eagle Condor Hoop, and that's where I met her and got to experience her powerful medicine and her sound that she offered during that time. And I've sat in ceremonies with her several times. And so she definitely has been one that I wanted to come and speak with her wisdom around the fire. So I feel honored that she is here with us tonight to share her teachings to support us in this journey that we're on. So Caroline, thank you for being here. And I'm going to just turn it over to you.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor to be here. And yeah, it's, the sacred hoop and where we all sit in our different light points. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Different light points, in the grid, and lighting it up in our own, with our own hearts and our own magic and illumination. And I'm going to speak a little bit about the star nations, but mostly this evening is really about direct experience, because that truly is how the star nations, in my experience, and the illuminated ones really offer the deep medicine, is not so much about knowledge and the mind, but about the transmission. It's a consciousness. And so when I was sitting with what wanted to come through, or in conversation, really, it's in that remembering. We're at, as we all know, we're in this unprecedented time, and the great turning, and the living in the age of prophecy. And, sinking in and an inquiry of what that means, and not from a mental place, but from a heart and body embodiment place. And so when I was meditating and in conversation about this evening, what wanted to be remembered is the celestial light that we carry in our bones, and the celestial light that we carry in our DNA. And so much of this awakening process that we're in, and the remembering process, is going from, DNA that's asleep, or, playing out karmic ancestral patterns, everything that we experience, right? And being on this path, as you'll know, of, the asking for the medicine of our lineages to have more space, but also our star lineage. So not just from our blood and bone lineage, but our soul lineages, and then also our star home lineage. And the experience about what I actually think is really important at this day and age is remembering that we don't have to actually go out to experience the stars, the celestial ones, the illuminated ones. It's actually through contact within the heart and contact within the body that we really remember who we are, that aspect of ourself. And so much we can find ourselves, I find, having our consciousness in front of our bodies or above our bodies, or tracking in different ways. And so we want to bring the consciousness deeply rooted within, and then opening from that place to be able to illuminate, make that connection with the illuminated ones, which is an aspect of ourselves, really, when it comes down to it. And I'm speaking to different mentors and people on the path through this time, and it's like we're all in a snow globe, right? It's like what we're saying, like, who knows what winter is going to bring, who knows what fall is going to bring. And when we're living in this age of the great turning and the age of prophecy, and from the Hindu point, going from the Kali Yuga to the Sat Yuga, the golden age, we're in that interim. And what a potent time this is, because so many portals are open. And with our conscious choice, we get to decide what portals we are going to nurture, what timelines we're going to nurture, because we are in that snow globe moment where there is no, definitive timeline. Our thoughts, our connections to our the helpers in the unseen, our own wisdom and our own soul embodiment is really creating that timeline, So part of, I'm always, as woo-woo as I get, I'm also a very skeptic of, I don't know if skeptic's the right word, but I'm always asking, like, well, how is this helping now? How is this helping the human experience? Because I spent so much of my life very much able to travel great distances in consciousness, and seeing light beings, seeing the unseen realms, but super ungrounded. And it wasn't actually an empowerment. It felt like more of a burden versus then an empowerment. And so in my adult life, really in that exploration of how do we bridge the unseen realms of light as an empowerment as humanity, because it's not about being able to sit in our caves, even though my friends know I would love to sit in my cave for a very long time. I'll pop out later. And that's my work, right? Is to, and I think all of ours is to really, be in the service, be in the action of, we've incarnated, chosen to at this time, and what a gift that is for our own evolution, and also where we're going to help create pockets of awareness and create pockets of awakening in a very dark time. I'm going to pause for a moment. And so, as we know, cultures from all over the world, the ancient Taoists, the Hindus, the Incan people, definitely the Egyptians, they were in deep relation to the star nations. It wasn't seen as something other, really. It was just as much as being in relation to the mountains, to the rivers, was also with the stars and the illuminated ones. And about a year ago, last fall, I was in Egypt, and we were going to the Great Pyramid, into the Sphinx. And we went around 4 a.m. Before the light came. And if anyone doubted why these were made and the star portals that were created, most people go during the day, so it's hard to really grok, the absolute intention of being a relay to these star nations and ancient civilizations. As soon as we got out of the van and we're in this procession in the dark, in silence, just tears. I don't think there was a dry eye there, of a remembering, and a remembering of a people that honored all of the relations. So our star family, our the ways of the earth and the rivers and all the beings that make up this existence. And as we traveled through the Nile, so we were sailing up on the Nile, which these different temples were marked from different points in the Milky Way. Different star nations were why the temples are where they're at. It's incredible to know that. And again, like, it's not about knowledge, it's about experience. So to have the body in relationship to that ancient wisdom. And we went to the Temple of Philae again before the sun rose, which was the Isis temple, and stepped into the inner sanctum, and my body just started in this shaking and in this trembling. And when it got my turn to open my mouth at this holy of holies, just light language, the star language just came through. And it's like I was in witness consciousness to it, but it was so beyond me. And it was a profound, life-changing moment of and deepening into the importance of being able to access this communication with these star beings, and using our voice, using sound, bringing in the light language to alter our cellular structure, alter our physical reality to this place of illumination. Because it's not just like, ooh, yay, celestial Pleiadians, this and that. Like, what does that hold? What does that even mean, really? Like, what's the consciousness? Like, is it just like, ooh, we get high from the illumination? But what truly, really is that? And it's about unity. It's about love in a way that our human mind can't grok it with the you just experience it, as we all have, I'm sure on this call, have experienced different moments before. And about remembering our who we are and on the planet. So in this next place in the golden age, we are living on an ascended experience, and having that grace not be something that's other, right? Because we all live our lives and we're in this 3D, and like, all the shit's going crazy and all the stresses. And then we have moments of grace, and we have moments of aha, and we have moments of remembering. But that's the other. Instead of like, what about living in the consciousness where we're connected to that grace because we are that grace? And then when we have like moments of like, contraction, or like, oh, human thing, that becomes the other. And so that was my experience in Egypt, and going to these different temples, and connecting so deeply. I'd already been connecting for a while through sound, especially to different star beings and star nations. But that was just a whole other, bumped it up a level. So I said I wasn't going to speak, but I've been chatting for a minute. So we'll go into an experience too. They're saying something real quick too. I'm gonna. Oh, right, thanks. So the sound piece. So sound in tones, and sound in light language. When we're not activating our left brain, we're not in the English language that isn't a holy language, so to speak, like Sanskrit or Quechua, that was based on tones and how that opened up consciousness, right? That's a living, awake language. So when we're in the English or different other languages that really aren't tuned into the vowels, the consonants necessarily opening up consciousness in the way, is really a huge tool to open up the voice. Because what's the voice, right? It's between the head, the ajna. I broke my wrist and was like, oh, I can't do that. Between the ajna, our inner sight, our inner vision, our inner knowing, and the heart, right? So when we haven't quite opened up and accessed the power of sound, the power of voice, it can get, the heart doesn't have quite access for the heart energy to come up and through, but also the vision to come down and through. So when we open up the voice through sound, and we are able to ground more celestial or higher frequencies, it really, it's about the embodiment again. Because we're not trying to reach out to go to the stars. We actually just sink deeper into our own being in our own body and remember who we are. And that is, it's just an incredible initiation to really start trusting and opening up the throat, letting this channel come through. And why the, as some of you may have heard of, light language, it's beyond, what the phonetics of what I could do, even like right here, just talking. Is getting out of the way and letting the frequencies come through, but putting sound onto it. Because what sound does, it grounds the light frequency. So I could hold this space and guide us into a certain journey and feel and have the energy come through, and you would feel something, you would feel a shift in that. But once the sound comes through, it's just like it's a lightning bolt of bringing in higher frequencies into the 3D. So whether in your own home, in your own practice, when even from a hum, that opens up to where the frequencies can come into the body in a grounded way. Does that make sense? So we're just going to go into it. It's so funny. I always say I'm not going to chat that much, and then I become chatty Cathy. But is there any questions? Anything before?
If you have any questions now, feel free to unmute yourself before we start doing some practice work.
So, Caroline, I just want to clarify what you just said.
Yeah.
Hi, sister, first of all. And that was, so what you're saying is that by bringing the sound out, we're actually grounding the energy in. They're the same thing, it's all happening together.
Yeah, so kind of think of Dr. Emoto's, the Japanese doctor or scientist that did the water experiment, where he had the molecules and it's like music, right? So it's like bringing in these higher frequencies, or bringing in a certain consciousness is changing your environment, right? So when I'm setting up space for ceremony, or, right, well, with the rattles, with the bells, right? So when we're working with a physical space, even though we can't see the structure necessarily of the physical space, in the quantum realm, when we add the sound, it's you're setting the tone, right? So it's like, okay, here you are. And it was fascinating. Like, there were some temples we went to and different places that had these sound chambers, like intentionally set. You just walked in, and the acoustics and everything, and then the way that the shaft went up to certain points of light to the stars, it was just like, whoa, they had it down about that connection of the voice and sound and communication with the celestial ones. So it's kind of think about, right, like the rishis and the sages of India, and meditating and going into that quantum space, going into a different dimension, or expanding their awareness to have access to that dimension. And where did some of these mantras come from? They certainly didn't come from humans, right? So the teachings Quispe, right? So I'm totally blanking on his name, but one of yes,
Manuel Quispe,
yeah, it's connecting into these star beings that have come and really helped humanity at different times, bringing that light, bringing that expanded awareness.
I have a couple of questions. I was going to save them for later, but if you're encouraging questions now, I'll ask them now.
Yeah, I'd like to do questions now, because at the end, we're going to be in an altered state, and I don't really want to get too chatty and like go to the mental. I really like people to be able to sit in it as long as you want.
Okay, so 2 questions. I did that trip down the Nile about when I was pregnant with my first child. So she got to go inside the pyramids, even though she was this big.
Amazing.
Yeah, so she says she went to the pyramids. And the temple at Dendera, the Hathors,
Yeah.
are you familiar with them?
Yes, I've been working with them for a very long time.
Okay, so it's interesting because I was just reading Tom Kenyon's latest thing. Can you share with me how is what you do similar or different or?
Yes, I've been sitting with Tom since 2007. So I've probably taken like every workshop he's given since then, except for like 2 or 3. So I'm very familiar. And yes, what we're about to experience is similar to those. Tom Kenyon, he's a great resource. He has amazing sound channelings on his website. Some are free, some you can buy from different workshops. So what's your specific question on?
I was just interested if you've answered it actually, that you're kind of on the, same page as him. I was curious about that. Thank you. And I mean, the Hathors, I mean, I have some kind of relationship with them, but I'm not exactly sure what it was. But I went down on the cruise down the Nile and stopped in all of these unusual kind of places, not the typical tourist places. And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I was reading a book just off subject a little bit, but called The Eyes of Horus by Joan Grant. Are you familiar with that? Okay, good. Yeah. So she channeled past lives, and I ended up in the same exact tomb of the guy that was the pharaoh at the time, and it was just freaking phenomenal.
Yeah. So there's, I mean, sound has been used to be in communication. The Hathors are, for those who don't know, are beings. There's a temple at Dendera in Egypt, and they really actually are on every temple. And they are masters of sound, and they live in this can be for the, I'll take it as well. But anyways, they live on the 6th to 12th dimensional space, and they are profound teachers of mine, and I've learned a lot from them. But there's resources too. So if you feel called, look up Tom Kenyon. He's been channeling the Hathors for 30 years or more. Also, the DVD, I don't know if you can stream it. You can stream it off of somewhere. Gaia TV is the Song of the New Earth. And it's a phenomenal documentary on his life, but also connecting into working for the healing of not just humanity, but for the healing of the earth, the healing of the waters. I'll just leave it.
I have one quick question.
Yeah.
You were talking about languages that have certain tones and vowel sounds, and I was wondering if Native Hawaiian might be one of those, because they do a lot of the vowel sounds and things in there.
Absolutely. Most Native cultures most Native cultures, their songs, their language is from, it's a living language. So it's created to shift consciousness, which I think would be that's my definition. I'm not saying that that's the definition, but how I think about it is those ancient languages are here so we remember.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else before she gets started? Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for having me, and thank you, Leah, and enjoy. So just get comfy. I'll make sure my computer is plugged in. Get comfy. There's really nothing that you have to do. Again, we're not reaching for anything. We're simply allowing the frequencies to come in, but also be remembered within your bones. So I'm going to open up space. I know Sarah did a little bit, but I'm going to open up in a little bit different way and welcome in the beings that are already here with us, working with us and through us. And oh, for those of you who maybe have not heard or worked with sound in this way, is it's a little bit different than a lot of sound healing in terms of we're going to relaxing and opening up consciousness in that way. So what I'm doing is connecting into certain frequencies, and then different sounds will come through, and sometimes it sounds a little bizarre to a lot bizarre, and sometimes I'll ask you to, depending on the guidance, to place your awareness perhaps at your heart chakra or at your crown. And really the sound codes coming in, and we're going to work with the DNA. There is no right or wrong experience. So I'm not going to be saying like, right now we're about to have this whole experience with the Pleiadians coming in at this moment, because it's really connecting to, for some of you, you might get a knowing that you're connected to a star nation that you're already familiar with. So whether that's Pleiadians or the Sirians or Arcturians, or you might not have an awareness about necessarily what star nation, and that's okay. Completely. And so just allowing, you might feel something move in your body, you might just experience a peaceful feeling, you might have visions. You know, this is really, there's no right or wrong experience in this, and trusting that whatever comes through is meant for you right in this moment for where you're at. Let's close the eyes. And bringing awareness to the breath. Tuning into the inhalations and the exhalations, and allowing them to be exactly what they want to be. And tuning into that central channel, connecting you into Pachamama, the Earth Star, and that column of light, connecting all the way to the crown center, allowing the petals to unfurl at the top of the head. And letting the awareness float about a foot above the head to the soul light, the 8th chakra, or it's called the Ba in Egyptian alchemy. Feeling this golden orb start to gather energy and illumination as inwardly summon yourself to yourself through all timelines, all dimensions, all realities. Feeling the soul light increase, amplify, and from here, letting our awareness go right into the heart of the divine, however that language, that energy is for you. Feeling that stream of light from the divine come into your upper centers. Watering your soul light a foot above your head. It overflows into the crown center. So as this light comes into your body, it's holding up a mirror of the divinity, the light that is within. So your cells, the molecules, the atoms, your bones start to become illuminated. As we sit at the spiritual fire of our hearts, we sit in the Holy of Holies to welcome in the star nations, the illuminated ones, the awakened ones, the ancient ones. From the center of your heart, putting out a call, a desire, a hello. To illuminated one, a star, your own star family, star nation, celestial being. You've never connected with anyone from your star family, you can just say hello. The desire to make contact to a being in your star family. As that awareness becomes the calling card, celestial realms open up. receptive to the portal that is open, it's filled with light. Keep your awareness at your heart center or placing it anywhere in your body or at the 8th center, the ba, wherever your intuition guides you. And just notice what you notice. Bring your awareness to the body and to the nervous system. You don't have to know mentally what the nervous system looks like or where it's at. Just with intention, summoning the nervous system, your nervous system. And out of curiosity, just tuning in, asking how much, or sensing how much feels attuned to light and how much is attuned to density or dense matter. So keeping awareness on the nervous system. Allowing the places of density within the nervous system, if it feels ready or appropriate, opening up to receive, transmute, transform nourishment and light. More star beings that want to come closer into your space. So if you feel open or that it's welcome, just allowing the illuminated one to come in a little bit closer. You might sense a message or some healing energy. Ready, connecting in, bringing awareness to your whole body, resting in the DNA. And we can't necessarily see the DNA, but just having that light awareness, resting on your DNA. And again, just for curiosity, seeing if you can sense how much of the DNA is turned on, attuned to the illuminated consciousness in your DNA, the awakened DNA, and how much feels still in the density and the karmic cycle. You might just get a knowing, you might see a number, percentage, you might feel something, or there might be silence and all is perfect. Keeping awareness on asking, inviting the illuminated ones, the awakened ancient ones from the star nations, whether that's your own star nation home. We're being very specific not to, there's a lot of portals open at the moment. So one person, you might feel a certain vibration frequency of the celestial star ones, and someone else will feel it very differently. So just trusting in the navigation of your own soul and heart, allowing for that illuminated light to go straight into the DNA, that which already is. Star frequency, the illuminated structure that's already within you. Feeling that depth and connection to the illuminated ones. Might be a particular star being or a sense of a vibration, a consciousness. So it continues to connect with your DNA as a mirror. Merge that consciousness with a sound that comes from you. So feeling into, if that light coming in, if that consciousness via a star celestial one or a star portal, if that had a sound, what would it be? In just a moment, just going to feel into that frequency. In just a moment, you're going to open up your mouth and let a sound come out, still focusing on the DNA, that sound anchoring in that light, in the body, in the DNA, that much more. So feeling into that frequency, and if the mind starts to chatter, just notice, oh, the mind's chattering, thinks that there's a right way to do this, and stay focused. Inhale. Exhale, letting the sound of that celestial frequency come through. It doesn't have to be high, it's whatever comes out. The sound, the frequency fill your bones, your body, where the frequency is bringing in to where your whole body is vibrating with that luminous essence. connection, the oneness with your star self. Grounding that in with the sound, your voice. Afterwards, pause, feel, witness. Just notice what you notice. Might be more spaciousness, feeling of calm, and bringing the awareness to the heart. Thinking the star nations, the star beings, the illuminated ones that came, perhaps offering a gift from your heart. Letting the heart expand to feel the connection of the heartbeat of Pachamama. The soul light glowing. The heart, the divine. And the heart of the star nations. Expanding in, inviting in the oneness, mirrors of each other only, as above, so below. Breathing deep into the body, letting the belly go all the way down to the pelvic floor, all the way down to the toes, so that illumination is within and without. Feeling Pachamama underneath you, sitting tall, supported, connected. May we walk this path, the beauty way, with an open heart, a clear mind. May we remember, may we anchor, may we embody our soul light, our soul song as we walk this human experience. May our presence be an offering a love and illumination. May our sound be the resonance that heals. And so mote it be. It is done. Ashe. Aho. So either keeping your eyes closed, taking in the experience, whatever showed up for you, or you can slowly open the eyelids, taking in a little bit of light at a time, letting the gaze be soft, wide periphery. We don't need to super focus. Just allowing there to be space and consciousness. And if there was anything that came up for folks and you have a piece of paper or something nearby, or after the call, you might want to jot it down. It's just like dreams. Sometimes we think we're going to remember and it can evaporate. So if there are, and Leah, let me know. I know Bina is going to close us out. Sensing that there's a closing, I know you're about to introduce her, of, and if there's anything that anyone wants to share, and then those that want to like drift can drift off. And if anyone wants to share, they can, if that sounds okay to you.
So if nobody feels called to share, we give it just another minute. And I'm going to ask.
I'd like to thank Caroline for that. Was magnificent. Really, really magnificent. Thank you.
So we're going to make it really simple tonight. I'm going to turn it over to my friend Bina, and she's going to close the space, and then I will hopefully see you all next week. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you all. Such an honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. That was just quite beautiful and special. Just wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to close with a mantra. So this is a Sanskrit mantra, which is, like Caroline was talking about, an ancient vibrational language that carries the consciousness within the sound. So I'm feeling like this is the perfect time to share this. It's 15 verses, 15 verses for Lakshmi. So Lakshmi is, that it is said that the Creator delivers the abundance of creation to us through the vehicle of Lakshmi. So this is calling on Lakshmi to come meet me where I am. And so just to receive and experience the sounds themselves. So, okay. I haven't done this on a computer yet, so. Haranya Varanam Haranim Sivarana Rajatasrajam Chandram Haranimayim Lakshmim Jatavedom Abaha Chandram Haranyam Lakshmim Jatavedom Abaha Tam avaha jatavedo Lakshmim anapagamanim. Yashyam haranyam vindeyam gamashvam purushanaham. Ashapurvam ratamatyam hastanada pramodanim. Shriyam devim upahave shima devi jushatam. Kam sosmitam haranya prakaram adram julantim triptam tarpayantim. Padme stitam padmavaranam tam iho pave shriyam. Chandram prabhasam yashasam julantim shriyam loke deva justam mudaram. Tam padmanim im sharanam prabhatye alakshmirame nashitam tvam varanomi. Aditya varane tapaso dijato vanaspatistava varikshota bilavaha. Tasya palani tapasanudantu yantara yashya bahya lakshmi. Upuetu mam devasakaha kirtishja maninasaha. Praturbutos rastraisman kirtan dhritam dadatu me. Tutpipasam malamjeshtam lakshmi nashayamayam. Abu tamasamrantincha sarvam nirnada me grihat. Gandadwaram duradasham nichipushtam karishanim. Ishvarim sarvabhutanam tamiho pam. Nasaha kamamakutim vacha satchamashimahi. Ashunam rupamanasya mai shri shayatam yashaha. Kardamena prajabhuta mai sambhava kardama shriyam vasya mekale mataram padmamalanim. Apusrijantu snigdani chikalita vasame grihe nichat devi mataram shriyam vasya mekale adram pushkaranim pushtim pingalam padmalanim chandram haranmayim lakshmim jatavedam avaha adram yakaranim yashtim suvaranam hemamalanim suryam haranamayim lakshmim jatavedam avaha tam avaha jatavedo lakshmim anapagamanim yashyam haranyam prabhutam gavadasya swaham vindayam purushanaham. Om shanti shanti shanti. Om Shri Guru Dev Namaha Hari Om. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Could you hear me?
I could. It was beautiful.
Great.
Good night, everybody.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say. I'll see you. Mwah. Love you all.
Thank you.
Love you. Thank you.
You all.